Hello. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the Wukong Black Myth or Black Myth Wukong. So we saw the trailer for it during the Game Awards. I saw the English version and then I saw the Chinese version pop up right here. And luckily for me, I can read a little bit Chinese. And what I wanted to do was I want to compare the two first. So I want to compare the Chinese version with the English version to see if there's any differences or any discrepancies. Although the English translation overall is pretty good, but there are some small little details. And then what I wanted to do is after that, I want to speculate a little bit about the story for the game. So let's get started. Now let's start with the English version.
Their minds yearn to ascend.
So over in the English version it says young minds yearn to ascend. And over the Chinese version,
世人都想神仙好。
it says here, 世人都晓神仙好, right here. Right? So it's similar idea, but obviously in the Chinese version it's a little bit more poetic, and the way it's saying this is that the world or everybody in the world knows how good the gods or the I guess in this case it would be like immortals have it. So they have a good time, they have an easy time, they won't die, they have powers, right? So that's what this is saying. And then let's go with the English version.
Yet fame still holds sway.
Yet fame still holds sway in the English version. And let's watch the Chinese.
唯有功名忘不了。
Right, so here it says 唯有功名忘不了. So 唯有 means like only, right? 功名 means achievements. So it's like fame, right, in the English translation. And 忘不了 means you can't forget it. So what this is saying here is even the gods, right, still cannot forget or still yearns to have, still wants to have some sort of fame or lasting memory for the rest of the world. Right, and then let's watch the English version.
Their glory fades through time.
Glory fades through time.
古今将相在何方？
So now it kind of differs a little bit from the English translation. So here, this sentence here, 古今将相在何方, is saying, where are those generals or emperors? Where are they now? Through the history, where are they? Where did they go? And then let's keep going with the English version.
In tombs of somber gray.
In tombs of somber gray. That's more Chinese.
荒冢一堆草没了。
So here it says 荒冢一堆草没了. 荒冢 means just graves, right? Kind of shitty graves. And then 一堆 means like a pile of grave, and 草没了 meaning it just fades away, right? There's not much left. It's just like an empty grave that nobody knows about, just like a big pile of dirt in the middle of nowhere kind of thing. So overall, I think the poem here in the Chinese basically means, you know, everybody knows being a god is great, and everybody wants to be a god, but they cannot forget to, they don't want to leave their, what you call it, fame or achievements behind in the human world. And then what happened to the generals and the emperors and all that good stuff in the world? They've all faded away over time. They've all dead. They're all just gone, right? So nobody remembers them anymore, kind of thing. Let's go back to the English version.
You too want to be an immortal?
You too want to be an immortal? Let's watch the Chinese.
你也想当神仙？
Yeah, so this is very similar. So you still want you want to be a god, or I guess in this case they will translate it to immortals. And in Chinese, there's no single god like Judeo-Christian religion, right? There's no single god. There is many gods. It's kind of like the idea of a pantheon from the Greek or Roman mythology, right? Things like that. Or very similar to also the Japanese mythologies of having many small gods, right? They're all kind of quote-unquote gods, but they're not all powerful like the Judeo-Christian God. Let's back to English.
Master, are there more good folks in the world or bad?
More good, of course.
So there's a little kid asking, Master, is there more good or bad in the world?
师傅，你说这世上是善人多还是恶人多？
自是善人多。
Right, so this part is exactly the same. It translates pretty well. And let's go back to the English.
Then why is there always suffering? And why do the bad folks always win?
Right, so why is there always suffering? And why do bad folks always win?
那为何这世道从未太平？恶人总是横行无忌。
Again, the idea translates exactly the same, although in Chinese there's a little bit more finesse to it, you know. But that kind of thing is really hard to translate. All right, let's go back to English version.
Because goodness without teeth punishes not. It only foments evil.
气，
因为
Go back to
不分
Chinese.
好歹的善不是善，是恶的帮凶。
All right, so here it says, for goodness without teeth,
Without teeth
goodness without
punishes
teeth
not.
punishes not.
It only foments.
It only foments evil. Okay, so in the Chinese version, it's a little different.
因为不分好歹的
So here it says, 因为不分好歹的善. It translates to goodness without distinguishing right or wrong, right? 好歹 meaning right or wrong, and 善 meaning goodness. So it's a little bit different from the English translation where it says goodness without teeth. Now this doesn't specify teeth part where, you know, the use of force. But let's keep going, right? So it says here, you know, goodness without distinguishing between right or wrong.
的善不是善，
不是善 meaning it's not true goodness.
是恶的帮凶。
是恶的帮凶 meaning it actually helps the evil. 恶 is evil. 帮凶 is helper or you know, henchman or whatever for evil.
凶以霹雳手
Right, so general idea is about the same, but I don't think it quite gets across the idea of
Because-
right or wrong, because in the English version it says without teeth. Now without teeth, it punishes
goodness
not.
without teeth punishes not.
Again, in the Chinese version, it doesn't really specify the idea of punishing. It's more for someone. It's more within than without, as in it's more about the person who is quote unquote good knowing what is right or wrong, instead of in the English version where it's more without, where it's like, hey, you need to punish those who do evil, that kind of thing.
It only foments evil.
Let's keep going with the English version.
Cleanse the world with blood and grow lotuses in it. That is your destiny.
Right. So it says, cleanse the world with blood and grow lotuses in it. And that is your destiny. And let's go with the Chinese version.
手段修以霹雳手段修菩萨心肠，这就是你的天意。
All right, so the Chinese version, right? General idea is very similar. So the idea of using force, right? So in the English version, it says cleanse the world with blood. Right here, in the cleanse the world with blood, meaning, you know, you want to kill those who do evil, right? And it's similar here in Chinese where it says, here, 以霹雳手段, 霹雳 meaning forces, right? Or something, something to punish, right? Generally means more forces, more in a violent kind of way. And then
霹雳手段修菩
显菩萨心肠. And 菩萨 meaning Buddha. 心肠 meaning the kindness or goodness within, right? 那显菩萨心肠 meaning showing goodness, showing the concept or the idea, the teachings of Buddha.
菩萨心肠，这就是你的天命。
Right, 这就是你的天命 meaning that is your destiny. So it's similar idea here, grow lotuses in it. So I'm thinking like the way they have translated is that to symbolize as Buddha or Buddhism, they use the lotus symbol, right, which is the symbol for Buddhism. And then here in the English version, it was like cleanse the world with blood, right? Cleanse the world with force, kill those who do evil, and then kind of spread the idea of Buddhism. Right, so that's for me what is
with blood and grow lotuses in it. That is your destiny.
Again, generally they're very similar.
I, the keeper of the New West, welcome the destined one.
Alright, let's watch the Chinese. So the subtitle here, obviously based on Journey to the West.
小西天土地，在此恭迎天命人。
So in the English version, I, keeper of the New West.
此恭迎。
And says here in the Chinese, 小西天土地. So 小西天土地 is really about this thing here. So this is coming into, so this guy here. So this comes into the idea of local gods, right? They're not quite, they're a little like local goblins, I guess, but they kind of do good things and bad. I guess they are a little bit mischievous, but generally they're good characters. So 小西天土地 is this person right here, right? So in the English translation, it translates to keeper of the New West.
I, the keeper of the New West.
小西天, it translates to small west sky, right? So they're going to the west, right? That was the whole point of the journey. And they're going to the west, meaning somewhere in now India, to get the scroll or the teachings of Buddha. And this here, the small west, or I guess in the translation here, it translates to the New West. It's not the actual West, but they, in the story of the original journey to the West, they mistaken this place with the real West, and then something happened. But we can speculate about it a little bit later. But we're here just for now. We're just comparing the translations. 在此恭候天命人, so I'm here waiting for you, the destined one.
Welcome, the destined one.
The destined one who doesn't even know what he's destined for?
The destined one who doesn't even know what he's destined for. And let's watch the Chinese.
在此恭迎天命人。
天命，天命，乖乖听老天命令。
Right, so in the Chinese one, it says 天命，天命，天命。乖乖听了天的命令. So it's a little different from the English version where it says destiny, destiny, right? And then here, in this sentence here, it just says, you're basically listening to, you're doing whatever the gods or the mortals tell you to do, like a pawn, right? So 乖乖 meaning doing something without questioning. 老天 meaning the gods. And 命令 meaning the orders from them. So it's a little bit different from the English version, right? In the Chinese version, it's a little bit more sarcastic, a little bit more of you don't know what you're doing, you don't know who you are, you're not that important. That's what the Chinese version is saying, right? And then let's keep going.
Those old rascals, they surely know how to name.
Those old rascals, they surely know how to name. It doesn't make any sense. Let's watch the Chinese version.
老天命令，气可老不死，名字取得倒怪传神。
Right. So in the Chinese version, 几个老不死的. Now, 几个老不死的 meaning those who a couple of those who never die, or they're getting really old, they're not dying. What's going on with those? So what could this refer to? I believe it could refer to the gods. Right? They've been around for a long time. In the Chinese mythology, they've been around for tens, if not hundreds of thousands of years. So they're still around and they're not dead yet. And then let's keep going with the Chinese version. 名字起得倒有怪传神的. So she's saying their names are quite legendary, right? 传神 legendary. 名字 names. So their names are quite legendary. So she was saying they make pretty legendary names for themselves, or they make up names that are legendary for themselves. So again, she's making fun of the gods. She's making fun of them. She's saying they probably haven't done anything really impressive. It's just they have a good name for themselves. Now, I don't know who this character is. We know it's a female, right? We don't know who this character is. It could refer to a couple of I guess bosses or whatever in the actual novel, but again, it's hard to say which one exactly this is. Now let's keep going with the English version.
Tell me then, is my kind destined for extermination?
Tell me then, is mankind destined for extermination?
怪传神
Let's watch the Chinese.
难道我族人的天命就是灭门绝户吗？
Yeah, so pretty similar here. So you can see my kind, right? 难道我的族人could refer to their kind, right? Or their family. It's a little bigger than a family.
族人的天命就是灭门绝户。
Here it says 就是灭门绝户, meaning to be exterminated or to be eliminated. So again, I think the translation is pretty good. I'm not sure if the what is said has any relation to what's on screen, so it's a little bit harder to judge. But let's keep going with the English version.
Extermination! You're driven by greed, not destiny.
You're driven by greed, not destiny. So let's watch Chinese.
哪有什么天命，都是贪心。
Yeah, pretty much the same. So she's saying, this person is saying, 哪有什么天命? So it's like there's no destiny, 天命. And then
天命都是
都是贪心, meaning it's all greed. 贪心, this part right here, that's greed. Yeah. So the translation is pretty good. Let's keep going.
So this is the face of the destined one. It will fit me just as well.
So this is the face of the destined one. It will fit me just as well. Let's watch the Chinese.
贪心，等剥了你这张脸，我也去当个天命人玩玩。
It's not a direct translation, but I think it gets the concept across. So in here is saying, he is saying, if I take off your face, so here, 等剥了你这张脸，剥了 meaning taking off or rip off 你这张脸 meaning face. So he's saying, if I rip off your face and put it on myself, right?
张脸，我也去当个天命人玩玩。
我也去当个天命人玩玩 meaning我 can be a destined one 天命人玩玩 So I can play around with being a destined one as well. So that's what they're saying. So again, I think the translation is pretty good. It translates the idea across. Not it word for word, but it gets the idea across.
It will fit me just as well. Bathed in blood, yet preaching peace. Oh, you immortals, pray enlighten me. What justifies your superiority?
Right. So here it says, bathed in blood, yet preaching peace.
Oh, you immortals, pray enlighten me. What justifies your superiority?
Right. And then let's watch the Chinese.
亡了神仙又如何？不是一样，打打杀杀，丑态百出啊！
And what it's saying here is, 成了神仙又如何? It says, so what if you become a god? 神仙 gods or immortals. 又如何? So what? Like, so what? You become immortal or become a god.
如何？不是一样？打打杀杀，丑态百出吗？
Right, so here it says 打打杀杀，丑态百出, meaning you're still killing each other, 打打杀杀, so you're fighting, killing. 丑态百出, meaning you're showing a lot of weakness, you're showing a lot of bad things, you're still doing a lot of bad things. So the entire thing is basically saying, so what if you become a god? You guys still fight each other, you guys still do terrible things. So what's the difference between a god or a mortal and a mortal, right? Mere human, or even here, perhaps one of the bad guys, quote unquote bad guys, questioning the gods. So what if you're a god? You're no different than us. Let's keep going with the English.
Such a destiny. Do you still want it?
All right, such a destiny. Do you still want it? I think we can skip through the Chinese version. Let's skip to the end here. Also, this part wasn't on the IGN trailer, so I had to find it on the official Black Myth YouTube channel.
这天命，你还想要吗？
So this one is saying, again, I think the translation is pretty good. Slight differences.
这天命，
这天命, meaning the destiny, right?
你还想要？
你还想要吗? Do you still want it? So again, it's very similar here, but I think the idea here is such a destiny. So it's not quite saying such a destiny, meaning like you know what the outcome is, or he's showing you what's going to happen. It's more like just destiny in general. Do you still want it? You know, minor differences, not a big problem, right? So now,
Still want it?
so that's it for the trailer. All right, so generally, in my opinion, I think the translation is pretty good, and overall, it gets the idea across. Although some of the stuff is a little bit weird, like they sure know how to name. It's like, what does that mean? What are they naming, right? So I think in the Chinese one, it's a little bit nicer. It explains things a little bit better. It wraps things up a little bit nicer, and also you're missing a lot of the finesse of the language itself, right? It's almost like, you know, if you're watching an anime, you want to watch it in Japanese, and you listen, you read the dub. So here, in this case, I believe, in my opinion, that the game would be better off if you play in Chinese and you read the subtitle, right? You don't listen to the dub version. That's just my opinion, because even if you don't understand the language, you can hear, I believe, some of the rhymes, the structures, that it's going to be a little bit better. Right here, let's say, for example, the poem in the beginning, where, you know, the English version is pretty good. You know, it gets the idea across, but in the Chinese version, it's a little bit nicer. It's got a little bit more rhythm to it. It's got a little bit more structure to it, and there's a beauty to the language that is just going to be missing when you translate it. Now, that's going to happen in all the cases, so, you know, I'm not going to be too upset about it, but I think if you play it in Chinese and then you read the subtitle, I think you'll get more out of it. And obviously, the Chinese voice acting, in my opinion, is a little bit better. All right, so now let's get into the speculation time. So what is the story about? Now, it says Wukong, right? Everybody knows Wukong, right? You probably watch Dragon Ball or whatever, right? So that's a little bit different, but I think what the main thing is the journey to the West. Now, maybe you're not familiar with Journey to the West, but it is a Chinese mythology of a group of quote-unquote friends. They go to the West, somewhere in nowadays India, to retrieve the writings or the teachings of Buddha, to bring Buddhism to China. So that's the story. Now, it was written in 1596, I think was the 1592, but the story actually happened 1,000 years prior, around 600 or so AD. So it's based on a real story. Really, someone, a monk, he actually went to the West to get the teaching of the Buddha, or to learn Buddhism, to bring it back to China. So that happened around 600 AD. And then 1,000 years later, it becomes a novel, and nowadays it's got TV shows, it's got animations, it's got different things, different forms of media, and it informs a lot of the Chinese mythology and even the culture itself, you know. So you may have seen what's his name? Stephen Chow. He's made a movie about the journey to the West, although it's a little bit more exaggerated, not exactly the same. Now, I think the story is not about Wukong. It's not about him. Now, that's just my speculation, right? I'll show you why I think this. What I believe the story is about someone else. It's not about Wukong. It may be a disciple of Wukong's. Maybe Wukong's descendant. Maybe now descendant is kind of weird. I'm not entirely sure if Wukong can have children, but he is born of stone. So Wukong himself born out of a piece of stone, right? So he is kind of like a god already, right? So he's born on a stone. I don't know if he has the ability to have children or whatever, but I believe the story here is not about him. It's about someone else who's following in his footsteps. Now, why do I say that? So in the previous trailer, in this trailer over here, so this is Black Myth Wukong 30-minute official gameplay trailer. This is released 3 years ago. Now, so just watching through all of the stuff that's available for us. So let's watch this a bit right here. This is Wukong. You, the player, is not playing Wukong. This is the real Wukong, right? Because if you look at his stick, what did this say? Wu Yi Jin Gu Bang. So this is the stick that Wukong actually has. It's the actual legit stick that he has, right? And then we come up to him. We're seeing him in full armor, right? Without the scroll or whatever the thing that he would be wearing normally if during the journey to the West to make sure he's stay in his lane, right? So he's not wearing that, and he's got his armor, and then he's got his little these symbols for his rank and all that. So this tells us this is already he already came back from the West. So this is after story to the West, journey to the West. So he's already got back. He became a Buddha, right? Or immortal in this case, I guess we will call it using the game's language. And he's got his let's keep going a little bit. You can see he's got his little feather here, right? So these feathers again signifying his rank, his importance. So this is already after he came back from the West. He's already become the important person that he is, or the important monkey that he is. So you are not playing as Wukong, but you look very similar to him, right? So what I'm thinking is that, of course, Wukong can become multiple copies of himself by ripping off his feathers, right? So those would change into more of him, but I don't believe you're a copy of him. I think you're more like a disciple of his. So that's just me speculating. I'm not entirely sure. Although you got a stick that does very similar things, but you can also see the stick that you have, the player has, is silver, and then the stick that Wukong has is gold, and it's much more ornate. You can see the dragon here wrapping around, right? You can see that there's some more stuff going on. You can see some extra decoration right here, and then obviously it's gold, and it also has the writing on it, right? So you can see his stick has the writing on it, and yours don't. So this is the real deal. All right, so that's what I think why you're not playing as Wukong, but you're playing the main character of the story is a disciple of his, or I guess a descendant of his. The other thing I want to wonder about is probably something happened after he came back from the West, or when after Wukong, the real Wukong came back to the West, something happened and he has to go, and then your character has to retread his journey for whatever reason. I'm not sure. Now let's watch again from the beginning of this one.
你们一定都听过关于他的故事。
So here it says, you must hear stories about him. Him, right? Him. Who is him? Wukong. So this is a person, someone, retelling someone about the story. Retelling you, I guess, I assume the player, about the Wukong's story.
有人说，他帮唐僧取到了真经。
So someone says he helped Tang Sung get the real Buddha's scriptures, or I guess scrolls.
封了斗战胜佛，从此留在了灵山。
So Lingshan is where the scroll actually is. It's where they're going in the west.
留在了灵山。
I guess the destination for the journey to the west.
也有人说，那个成佛的根本不是他，真正的他早就死在了西行路上。还有人说，西游从来都没有发生。
Right. So this one here, it says it wasn't him, meaning Wukong, granted a Buddhahood, who became Buddha. Well, in the novel, that's obviously not the case. It's the fact that he did earn his place to become a god or a Buddha.
根本不是他，真正的他早就死在了西行路上。
It says he's already dead on the journey. Obviously, that's not the case in the original novel.
还有人说，西游从来都没有发生过，他只不过是说书人杜撰的一只猴子。
Now, of course, as it says, right, some say he's not real, he's just a monkey. You know, the journey to the west never actually happened. No, obviously, according to the novel, it did happen, obviously. Right, let's keep going with this. So now you're wondering who this is, right? So let's, we'll come back to it.
但我要讲的故事，你们一定没有听过。这个故事得从一只金蝉说起。
So now the gameplay happens. You can see the little cicada show up, right? This is obviously, if you keep watching, becomes you, the player character, right? And then this leads up to the fight. Now, before the fight, you meet the little local god. So this guy. So, 小神是黑风山的土地. So meaning, I'm the local god of the Black Wind Mountain. 黑风 Black Wind. Shan Mountain, 土地 the local god of the Black Wind Mountain. 在此处恭候你多时了. So I'm waiting here for you for a long time. Now, how long the time is, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's important, but let's keep going.
在此候你多时了。像。
Let's keep watching.
真像。
Right, so you can see he walks up to you, the player character. And he says, 像. What does that mean? It means you look like someone. You look like someone, right? You look like someone. Okay, let's keep watching. Keep going. 真像啊. You really like him. Who is he referring to? Who does the player character look like? I believe is Wukong, the real Wukong. So this guy, this local god here, whatever, he has seen Wukong before. He passed through here long ago, right? And then for whatever reason, the player character, the destined one, so he's heard about it. Obviously, all the gods communicate. They kind of have their own backphone kind of system. Anyway, so they've all heard the story. So they're expecting you. And then you show up, and he's saying, 像,真像. So you really look like him. You really look like the real Wukong. So this is, again, why I believe the player character is not the real Wukong. or at least the story is not about Wukong. It's about someone else. Right, so then he takes you to some little temple, and he tells you a little bit of something, and it's not really relevant to what we're saying here until then you meet the real Wukong, right? And then this is really loud. Okay, so as we go, right? So this is the player character, and you keep going. You can see you do get to play as the real Wukong. Right, so you can see here, he's riding his cloud. So there he is, fighting the Titans or whatever. And then here, he's riding his cloud, which is his signature mode of travel. And then we have the white dragon right there. So this dragon here could be the dragon that became Tang Seng's horse, right? So one of the Dragon King's son. And there he is in the heavens, fighting the heavenly army or whatever. It's kind of hard to translate. So, but he's already got his armor, so I'm not entirely sure why he's fighting the heavens. Although he did became a nuisance to the gods in the Jade Emperor before he went on a journey. So that's why they sent him to which leads up to him guarding Tang Seng to go on a journey, right? But I'm not sure what's going on here. Why is he fighting the Heaven's army as the general, as the commander of the Heaven's army? Again, hard to speculate what the story is here. It's almost got a little Dynasty Warrior vibe here. Fantastic. So that's the trailer, but there's more in. Let's keep going. Right, so let's pause here for a second. So you can see this piece of cloth that kind of floats up. Now, I don't know how familiar you are with Buddhism, but this, in my opinion, means this person is a Buddha. Right? He has his Buddhahood. Now, who else has his Buddhahood? Wukong himself. And what does this person look like? In my opinion, what does he look like? Let's take a look at his face right here. See the facial hair right here? Right? How much it rises up to the face. Right? And then he's got his little beads and stuff, right? And then he's playing around with his beads right there, which also the Buddha or a monk would have. We're gonna take a look at his hands. Right, so we have his hands right here, and then if we look at the real Wukong's hands, right, very similar nails, the black nails, the longer nails, the fingers, and his facial hair. Right. So this is obviously a younger Wukong, fairly young anyway. I mean, he'll be hundreds of years old by this point, but relatively young. But this character here, in the end, is a much older version, I believe, of Wukong. So he is telling a story to whom? I have no clue. It could be just an exposition thing, right? Or it could be him telling the younger one his story. I don't know. Maybe telling the next generation after the player character has gone through the story. I have no clue. That's a little bit harder to say. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. Okay. So here, this sentence right here. So 白骨之后 重走西游 白骨 saying white bones 白 white 骨 bones 之后 after 白骨之后 meaning after you become bones, meaning after you're dead. 重走 retread 西游 journey to the west. So what does that mean? Who's dead? Right? Who are we talking about here? Who became the white bones? I'm thinking it's not quite literal. It's not quite literally dead. I think it's more that the legacy is over. right? You know how like important the legacy, the fame, and all of that is in the trailer. How that's important to people, even to the gods. You know, 白骨, it could be a metaphorical death. So after the metaphorical death of Wukong, somebody has to retread or repeat the journey to the west. Now, why is that? I don't know. I don't know what this is referring to. I don't know what this is, who's going on the journey again, you know, but I speculate, the way I speculate is that you, the player, is a disciple or a follower or a descendant of the real Wukong, and you have to go on the journey again, either it be to save Wukong or something happened, most likely doing some good, or you're the one who's going to take over from Wukong or to be his his replacement or whatever it is. You have to go on a journey again to discover yourself, to discover what's good or evil, and how to be a Buddha. You have to attain your Buddhahood again by retreading the journey. That's just that's sort of what I think, right? And then let's also talk about this trailer here. So let's watch this one. Again, this is from 2 years ago. Now, it's still fairly old, but I'm watching all of this stuff just to put the story together to see what's going on. So this narration here is from a character here at the end. You can see this character here. So this character here is in the story a false Buddha. He's not a real Buddha. He's one of the bad guys. He's a bad one of the ghouls or whatever, and he took over a temple, a Buddhist temple, and then sort of named himself a Buddha. Right, so he's not a real Buddha, he's a false Buddha, but in the beginning here you can see he's saying a couple of things. He's saying, I've seen you in many strange dreams. Who is he referring to? Let's keep watching. So meaning you walk together because your destiny or because your fate.
怀着各不相同的目的。
怀着各不相同的目的，就是 having different purposes, having different goals.
相同的目的，你欲成前人未竟之业，修功德圆满。
Okay, so this first one, 你欲成前人未竟之业，修得功德圆满。So meaning you, whoever this is referring to, wants to complete 欲成 wants to complete 前人未竟, meaning the causes or things that the previous persons, meaning the people before, has not completed.
人未竟之业，修功德圆满。
修功德圆满 meaning to complete his journey or to complete his purpose. So this is referring to Tang Seng, who is the quote-unquote main character of Journey to the West, who is the one, a monk, I guess, who wants to bring Buddhism back to China. Right, so this is what they're referring to. And also in the imagery, you can see we're looking at this lotus pillar, right, which is the symbol for Buddhism, or one of the symbols anyway.
执着后世传颂之名，求位列仙班。
Okay, 你执着后世传颂之名. So this is saying you, whoever this person is, wants to be remembered. Right, wants to have the future generations, 后世 future generations, 传颂之名 to sing about you, to tell legends about you. All right, let's go.
着后世传颂之名，求位列仙。
求位列仙班 meaning wanting to become a god, to put your name beside 仙 gods or immortals, I guess, whatever. 求 wants to 位列仙班, so meaning to be put together with the gods. Now, who could this refer to? This could refer to one of the disciples for Tang Seng. So the one that accompanied him, Tang Seng, to the journey to the west. So this is called the pig one. I don't know how to translate, but he's the pig one who is one of the second follower that Tang Seng gains. The first one is obviously Wukong, right? The second one is the pig general. He used to be a general anyway, and then he became a pig. So that's him. Go on a journey to the west to sort of redeem himself.
你想跳出三界之外？
你想跳出三界之外 meaning you want to be out somewhere else, not in this world.
跳出三界之外，图个清净自。
图个清净自在 do whatever you want. Right? Do whatever things you want, not be bothered. So this could refer to Wukong himself. And also we can talk a little bit about the imagery. So this apparently is the false temple, 小雷音寺. So 雷音寺, the thunder temple, so that's where the real Buddha scroll is, or Buddha scripture is. This one, 小雷音寺 means small thunder temple, is the false one that the foursome traveled to, and then there was some story there. They got trapped and all that. So that's.
之外，图个清净自在，还有你无所挂碍，吃顿饱饭便善哉善哉。
Right, so this one here, it says, so let's make one in, and you, the last one.
吃顿饱饭便善哉善哉。
无所挂碍，吃顿饱饭便善哉善哉 meaning you have nothing to worry about. The only thing you want is to eat, or just have food and have a place to stay, and you will be happy about that. So 善哉 meaning you're happy, you're content. 吃顿饱饭 meaning fill your belly, right? So she's saying this person, whoever this is happy to just have some food, and just a very simple person, right? So this is the last disciple, the third disciple of Tang Seng, who is called Sha Seng, right? He again was a general, and then he did something wrong, well, he knocked over a lamp, and he got he got punished to be a mortal, and then this person is a very good person in the story, in the Journey to the West story. He's a good guy. He doesn't ask for much. He's very loyal. He's very hardworking. Generally, a very nice person. All right.
可我早就看穿了你们。
So obviously he threw them. You can see the translation here. It's pretty good.
满嘴的情怀大义，一心的世俗名利，唱什么命不由天，却笃信自己才是天命之选。
So overall, this entire trailer is about the bad guy, the false Buddha, saying how the quote-unquote real Buddha, or the trio, or the quartet's journey to the West, how that is a false narration, or a false story, right? How you so think yourself as high and mighty, how you're doing the righteous, but really you're no different than us, because you're looking for stuff for yourself as well, right? And you're just wanting your own goals, right? So how he's saying here, like every single one of you wants something for yourself. You're not doing this for the greater good. And you are no different than us, who are the bad guys, right? You're no different. So I think it's quite poetic, quite ironic that the ones who think you're doing good is not really doing much good, because you're just doing exactly what these bad guys, or so-called bad guys, are doing, right? So again, come to this, when we look at the main trailer over there, comes to the idea of not knowing good, right or wrong. So doing good without knowing right or wrong is simply doing evil. There's no different than doing evil, right? So it's like, for example, if you don't know what's right, you're just doing quote-unquote nice things, right? It's very similar to just doing bad things or doing evil. Right, and then let's watch here. So obviously we're talking a little bit about, so there's more detail in here. We can, again, it's just more about how the quartet, right, how noble their journey is, but honestly, there's no difference. And then the false Buddha here is regaling them with his own interpretation of the Buddha's code or Buddha's teachings, right? So he is saying, although this is interesting, so let's watch this bit. So 既见未来为何不败？未来 future 既见 so you already see the future 为何 why not 不败 you don't bow down to me, right? So this is saying, I think, that you already seen the future, why don't you bow down before me? As in this guy, the false Buddha, is saying you already see what's going to happen, you already see who you will become, why aren't you bowing to it? Why don't you submit, right? So why don't you just become who I am, or who you already see? You already saw the truth, right? That's what I think. Now there could be more, right? I mean, with the available information, this is what we can gather. And as we can see here, let's keep watching. We got a title. I think there's a couple more words here. No. So there's more going on afterwards. Let's watch this.
入了此番轮回，就别想再轻易涅槃。
Right. So you can see your player character is running away and getting pulled back. Pulled back in. Right. So what this is saying is, if you 入了此番轮回, meaning you're already in the cycle, or there's some sort of cycle. Not sure what it's referring to, although the translation says you're casting your immortal soul into the 6 realms. This time there will be no easy way out. 就别想轻易在涅槃. So meaning you don't. You can't just get out that easy again. This time. Not sure what he's referring to. Maybe he's referring to last time the real Wukong came through, he got out. This time you won't have such good luck. Right? And we have this thing here. So I think this thing here is the lid of one of those furnaces that used to make Dan. So it's like the Buddhist or the Taoist way of making medicine, or doing like their version of the alchemy, right? Or what is it called? The turning lead and stuff into gold, that kind of thing. Not entirely sure what could it refer to, but let's keep going. There's some words that are gonna pop up very soon. 斗罢艰险又出发. So 斗罢 meaning you already fought something. 艰险 meaning the adventure. 又 meaning doing something again. 出发 so you start your adventure again. You start again. So meaning you already won the fight. So 斗罢艰险, right? So you already won it. You already got it. You already fought through the adventure. 又出发 so you go at it again. So like that may be referring to some sort of cycle they were saying, right? In the trailer here. It's some sort of cycle. Why are we going through the cycle again? I'm not sure. What is the cycle even? What is the cycle about? Why do you start again? Where do you go again? What do you fight again? Right? These are like, I'm not sure. So I think again you're going on a journey again to the west to retrieve something, to retrieve someone, perhaps. I'm not sure. Why are you going on a journey? I'm not sure. It could be something to do with Wukong, the real Wukong. Something happened or the gods say needs something done, or the Wukong needs a replacement, or Wukong needs someone to help him out, or I'm not sure. So the destined one, right? Your player character is the destined one. The destined for what? What is the destiny? What for? Why do you have to do this again? We're not sure. Right? Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the game studio itself, game science. So let's take a look at the website here. So let's go to the Wukong's website. So this is the Chinese version, and I'm going to take you through the Chinese version because I think the Chinese version tells a little bit more story. Cool. So this character here. So who is this guy? Right? He is in the trailer. He is in the trailer reading a poem to Wukong, and he is in the trailer seen drawing the picture in the back here. Right? And then at the end, you obviously see Wukong right here learning from his master, who is a Buddha. You can see the glow right behind him. And this Buddha is known to be quite open-minded, meaning he is open to all sorts of things, like Taoism, Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever it is. He's cool with it. That's why you can see his disciples come from all walks of life, and they're all reading stuff right on the bamboo scriptures here. And you can see we have the Taoist, I guess. And then you got some regular people that are just walking around. You have some monks and whatnot here with the shaved head, right? So this picture is obviously something that already happened. Now, how does this person know what happened? I'm not sure. So in the concept art here, he has a name. He has a name here. So let's scroll here. So if you go to the concept art, if we go over right here. So he has a name of Lan Cai, or Lan Cai. This character does not exist in the original novel. Who is this character? I have no idea. Why is this character so seemingly wise? But you do fight him in one of the trailers. There he is. So you do fight him in the game. I'm not sure what it is. It could be he's some sort of teacher for your player character. You know, I don't know. Maybe he challenges you to something. Maybe he's something that someone who gave you like a little bit of a turning point for your character, right? The player arc. I'm not sure. But obviously, he obviously knows a little bit more than what he's letting on. Okay, right? Okay, let's go back to the website here. Let's keep reading. So here, on the last one here, it says the developers many years ago, they talk about what happens to Wukong after he gains his Buddhahood, or he became a Buddha, right? And then they were talking about it 12 years ago. So what has happened since then? So that's why I think the story happened after Journey to the West. So we've already happened. You obviously still retread some of the stories. You can see there are little vignettes where you play as the real Wukong, right? You still get a little bit of that stuff back. You still have a little bit of story of the original journey, but you're embarking on a new journey, right? We're not retreading the Journey to the West as Wukong, but as someone else, as his successor, as his replacement, or whatever, right? As his disciple, whatever it is. Not sure about. And then here it says here in this paragraph, they talk about who are they? What are they about? You know, what do they do? They, meaning game science, the studio. And then there's a lot of talk about how they want to make Wukong one of the greatest games, right? They want to talk about being a AAA game coming out of China. They want to talk about how they want to do like their combat system want to be good, how the characters need to convey a story, and all that good stuff. Generally, if true, sounds great, right? And let's talk about the title itself, Black Myth. What does that mean, Black Myth? Are we talking about something dark, you know, black, right? Are we talking about something that's dark? Are we talking something that's bad? That's why it's black? Or in Chinese, 黑, black, means it could be something that's a twist on something, a different take on it, right? So 黑神话, black myth. Could be a twist on the original story. Could be a rethinking of the original story. Could be a different retelling of the original story, right? So we based our fantasy world here. The Black Myth Hero game is based on a myth or a different twist on the original Journey to the West story. That could be it. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the games that this developer has developed before. So this is the, if I remember correctly, the third game this developer has developed. So one of the games they have developed is called Red Tide, Art of War, Red Tide. So this is an RTS game, obviously based on the StarCraft 1 and 2 sort of idea of having three different races, and they all fight each other. There's different ways to play. It's free to play. It's on Steam. You can check it out if you want. And the other game is another mobile game. So another mobile game called 100 Heroes. So it's a mobile game, I think. So it's got the Three Kingdoms kind of and the fantasy elements in there. So I'm not sure. As in, it's a little bit of a big difference coming from these types of games straight to something like Souls-like, right? Again, from the gameplay, it looks pretty good, but how good will they actually make it? Well, let's see. So far looks pretty good. I'm looking forward to the game, and I'm looking forward to the story mostly, because it's something that I think we don't often see, and it's something that, although many times be conveyed in different medias like movies, right? Like TV shows, like animation, but rarely depicted in video games. So I'm really looking forward to playing this game, to read the story, to read the retelling or the retake on the story, and just see how the things go, because it's really intriguing. I think, at least for me anyway, I thought, oh yeah, you're just playing as Wukong, that's cool. You playing through the journey, cool, right? But it's not quite. So it's just a little bit more to it than what meets the eye, and that's what it's all about. Even as Wukong, right? You look at him, he's just a monkey, or is he? There's more going on. So the whole Journey to the West is a story about discovery. It's discovering yourself, what's going on within you, who you are, and all of these monsters are just reflections of the human psyche, different types of psyche, the greed, the seven sins, all that stuff. So that's just a reflection, an outward reflection of what's going on inside. So the whole journey is about you facing the demons within, even though they're outside. So every time they're learning a little bit more, they're learning a bit more about themselves, they're learning a little bit more about each other, and I think this story will tell us the story of you, the player character, the monkey, the little monkey, the little Wukong, not the real Wukong, but the little Wukong, the journey to discover himself, or the player yourself, to become a god or immortal or Buddha or whatever it is, right? So I think it's quite intriguing, and I can't wait to play it, although we still have more than 8 months left. All right, so let me know what you think. Let me know if what I say makes sense, or if you have your own theories. If you watch all of this stuff and you have your own theories that come up with, right? And I think it's just really cool to have some discussions. Obviously, it's hard to say if anybody's right or wrong, right? Because we're not in the writers' heads. So, but it's always fun to speculate, and the story is really cool, and especially with a story that's this rich and that's been around this long. So it's good to just have some fun, speculate, let's talk about it, have some fun with it, right? And I will see you next time. Bye.